Purpose. No one can create your purpose for you. No one can tell you who to be. So in purpose, you have to create your own purpose. And in evolution, you have to evolve towards that purpose. It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right, welcome. This is Brandon B. Dixon. You're tuned into another episode of the Power of Ownership podcast. I have some guest panelists on board. I know David's going to be here shortly, my co-host, so logging on here shortly. So without further ado, let's go ahead with the introductions. I'll start with me first, and then we'll go ahead and introduce my guests. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. NMLS is 1541210. It's at Billionaire Loan Officer, all social media. You could hit me up there. Please like the videos, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, you could get at me at my website, applywithb.com, if you want to book me for a consultation, or if you want to apply for a mortgage, www.applywithb.com. You can contact me 832-775-8357, 24/7, long as it's about mortgages. I'm ready to talk. Also, don't forget I'm a licensed realtor as well. You could contact me at brandonbdixon.com if you want to lease, list. You want to get into real estate investing as well. Last but not least, we love Frenchies.com. Don't forget I'm a Frenchie breeder. That's my passion project as well. So if you're looking for a purebred Frenchie, we love Frenchies.com. It's coming soon. All right, so I got a couple of guests. Mike Morton, I've been knowing for at least 10 years now, right, Mike?
Yeah,
so
about that.
Mike, tell them, a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell them what you do. Tell them where they can find you, so on and so forth.
All right, my name is Mike Martin. I'm an inventor, entrepreneur. I invented the heavyweight scrub brush, the cool and curve beverage chiller. I founded a company called Capitalism to Cause, where we fund things that help people out with the inventions that we have created and sell. One of the projects that we do is Miss Emma's Retreat, where we take cancer patients sailing free of charge in Galveston Bay. So if anybody knows anybody out there that's in a struggle, please get with us, and we'll take you out and let you witness some of God's breath in the sails. So it's a lot of fun, and really does a lot of good. So thank you for having me, sir.
Gotcha. And tell them about the TikTok as well.
Oh yeah, Grout is not black is my TikTok. So
right,
it goes into a little bit about everything about where I come from and everything on my views, and so yeah, go check us out.
Gotcha. And Alton, we've been knowing each other for a while as well. So same thing. Introduce yourself. Tell them what you do, so on and so forth. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so my name is Alton Glenn. My main thing that I do right now is Texas Freedom Pastures. We're basically a serial entrepreneur. I've had several different startups, 2 or 3 different startups that I've exited out of, and now I'm doing land development throughout the Texas area, where we buy large acreage, create small ranchettes, and sell those off, selling finance. If you're looking for land, definitely look us up on TexasFreedomPastures.com. TikTok is Texas Freedom Pastures, and Instagram is Mr. Glenn 87. I'm also available via my phone number as well, 832-391-8081. I'm always open to connect with other business owners to talk more about business in general, what we're seeing in the markets, and how that spans across our different markets individually.
Gotcha. Alton, you're going in and out as far as your audio. Yeah, as far as the mic, let's see if I could on my side adjust your mic here a little bit. So you kind of we getting every other word, like kind of I've got the echo cancellation. It's kind of choppy. So let's try again. I could hear part of what you're saying, not everything. It's not clear.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay. Should I go ahead and read that, or?
Yeah, do exactly where they can find you again and what you do. I wasn't clear on that.
So the main thing I do is it's a company called Texas Greener Pastures, where we basically sell affordable home sites for individuals that are looking to buy ranchettes, 2-acre ranchettes, 5-acre ranchettes, 10-acre ranchettes of rural land. But besides that, before that, it was doing basically a couple different little startups and exiting out on those. I'm always open to connecting with other business owners, just to talk about how our industries and what we're seeing in the market span across those industries individually. You can find me you can find the company as far as for land at texasgreenerpastures.com, on TikTok, Texas Greener Pastures, and then me personally for Instagram, Mr. Glenn 87.
Gotcha. Well, we could dip banners for all of those. You know what I mean? So, but I'm pretty sure they'll find you here. But let me ask both of you. So, how long have you been in that business so far? David, how's it going?
Hello, and Mike. Nice to meet you guys.
Right.
Sure.
Right, we're right in the introduction, so you're next, David. So you know, right on time.
Oh, fantastic! We're live. Fantastic.
Right.
Yeah. So for real estate, I've probably been in the business for probably somewhere between 13, 14 years, somewhere around that range. As far as for land development, we've been doing that for the past 3-4 years, but we were doing a lot of seller finance for houses. We used to flip a bunch of houses, like probably somewhere between 3 to 5 houses a month on a consistent basis, and seller finance. We'd create those notes, and then we'd hold those notes or sell some of those notes off as well to recapitalize. So yeah, probably about 13, 14 years in real estate.
Gotcha. That's pretty impressive. That's longer than that's not longer than Dave, but it's longer than me for sure. I'm 10 years. So Mike, what about you? How long have you been an inventor? How long have you been in business period?
Yeah, my heavyweight scrub brush, we've been selling that for 31 years now. And so
Right.
McDonald's is my biggest customer. That's a long story, though. We also, the cooling curve, everything else. I left Gallery Furniture working with you 9 years ago. And I've been doing Capitalism to Cause and Miss Emma's Retreat for 9 years. And my granddaughter was born with cancer when I was working at Gallery Furniture and started all this. And so I've been doing that since then.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right, David, your real quick introduction. This is our co-host, David. I know he was with his family, so he's running a little bit late. So
yeah, I didn't realize we actually had already gone live. So next time, Brandon, tell me we went live before.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I thought we were waiting.
No, we got rolling.
Yeah, so go ahead with the flag there, the banner.
Which one you want, the Infinite Home Teams first?
I don't
David
know.
Youngs.
Whichever one you're used to. There we go. David Youngs. So I am a mortgage advisor branch manager with Nexa Lending, also with Brandon Dixon here at Nexa Lending, largest brokerage in the history of the nation. One of the original license number individuals here with Nexa. 328-679 is my license number. Hit the next form if you would. That's my YouTube handle. Infinite Home Team, which is going to be in the next one as well, is kind of the place to find me online if you search that tag, Infinite Home Team. The infinitehometeam.com is my website. You can get a lot of great info on there, cool research tools, calculators, free things you can download, all kinds of fun stuff that will just make things easier for you from a financial standpoint. And next is .cards/David Youngs. If you go to this website, you'll actually be able to, from your phone, download all of my contact information, including everything you just saw and more in one shot. And then you'll never have to worry about where to find me from there on out.
Gotcha. All right, so we got a variety of actual clips this week, and we're going to go over them. And what we're going to do is we're going to react to them. I'm going to do a round robin, and we're gonna hopefully get some good back and forth dialect going, dialogue, and then we'll rock from there. Let's see what we come up with. But let's go with the first one.
Just Brandon, just a reminder for a preface for those watching, what we do typically every week on the show is we put out this video content. It's others that have created this content already. So we're going to watch this together. And then as we watch this together, we're going to give comments, likes, explanations about what we like and don't like about it, what we agree with, what we don't agree with, kind of challenging some of the concepts in many cases. So we encourage those watching live, if you have any comments, thoughts as well, throw them in the chat. We'll answer those live and make sure we address those on the show. So that way we can have an active collaboration if possible beyond just our panelists here.
Gotcha. And let's go with the first one. I'm live on every channel now. I'm on live on the Instagram as well. So let's go. Let's run it. Let's go with the first one. Y'all let me know if y'all can see the screen here. Hold on a second. Y'all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's run.
Method to get rich in America. The formula is simple. Everybody wants to complicate. Step one, could be a laundromat, car wash, bagel store, pizzeria, anything that cash flow. Step two, install standard operating procedures. This basically puts processes in place for every position. This is how the business now can run without you. Step three, back yourself out of the business slowly. Hire a manager, give it $70,000 a year. And step four, do it again. Do this over and over again till you have 3, 5, 10, 15 of them. Each one will now net you $100,000 a year. And now you're making $700,000 to $1 million. And it's considered passive because you scale and you're not working every day in the business. Buy an owner operated business and then step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back yourself out. Yeah. Buy, systematize, delegate, and repeat. People love when I say get rich because it's true. This is how it actually happens. This is the simplest.
Man, I'm gonna give my guests the choice. Do y'all want to go first, or y'all want me to go first to kind of go by example? How y'all want to do it?
You can go first.
All right. Oh, do you want to go in first and on that, or you want me to go first?
I'd be open to going in. And so first off, I think that this is definitely a blueprint for a level of success. I think that the information, although general in nature, but the thing is, simplification is the best thing that we can do in order to best understand things. It's kind of like, hey, the best way we can understand something is by explaining it to a third grader, right? So I do agree with the overall sentiment. I'd be curious to know what the audience is of the video, just because of the fact that I feel like this is like a phase 2, phase 3 in terms of level of success type of knowledge, because it's very easy to fall into the trap. Well, okay, I say it this way. This is for someone who has their bills taken care of. Right, whether that's through some form of passive income, some form of other investment, some form of maybe I'm going to say their full-time job, but then they still need some time to do these things and so on and so forth. Just because of the fact that otherwise, if you don't hire somebody to do these things, then you end up easily falling into the trap, and you see it over and over again. If you buy a pizza shop and then you're running the pizza shop. And 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you're running the pizza shop, right? So I think that I'd be curious to see what to know what the audience is, just because when you're speaking to the general public, I don't think that they're there yet to be able to properly execute that.
Right. I want to see it's about how it's done. I think the audience for this is going to be people that are looking to invest, and people, instead of trying to build businesses from scratch, looking to buy in businesses. I think it's called the silver tsunami, where the boomers are going to be retiring, and they're going to go on vacations and stuff like that. So they don't want to give the business to the kids, so they want to sell a business. They want to come over with lump sum, and they want to enjoy the rest of their life. So I think it's an opportunity for Gen X on down, Gen Z and millennials to actually buy some of those businesses, put our systems in place, up to date it with AI and other systems and 10x that business. And then from there, we want to, later on down the line, put a manager in, and then, maybe down the line, sell it for a 3 to 5x multiplier. That's kind of the game plan. And then, like you said, that's the new Burr method, as far as businesses, because think about it, you could get more output out of a business than you can out of rental property, because you control that the sales process. So I think that's what he's talking about. And just to address what you're saying, I don't think you necessarily have to have a lot of money. I think you just have to have the right business, and you have to have the right VC, because you can get a VC to believe in you. Hey, listen, this is what I got. This is how much debt I got. I need this. I need some working capital to erase this debt so I can fully commit to being embedded in this business. And I want to duplicate myself, train my managers that way. So I need all this paid off. You can do that, if you come with the right VC, but it got to make sense. It got to be numbers. So so you can put that into the package, the deal. And
Brandon, define VC for our audience, for those that don't know what you're talking about.
That's venture capitalist, so venture capitalist fund or whatever. Most, and I would say get those VCs in line as opposed to trying to family and friend it, so. And I'll yield the floor. Mike, you want to go on? Are we going to do round robin or how?
I think Alton had something else he wanted to say first.
Yeah,
maybe.
Come on back with it.
Sure. So so I agree 100% with what you said. Just to be clear, when I say all their bills are taken care of, it's not necessarily someone that has a bunch of money. It's more that they're not trying to make money out of the business that they just bought, right? Because when you talk about, the process that it takes in order to systematize the business, and then once and even you're systematizing at a loss, and even after you systematize it, you're still at a loss until you actually crawl your way out of the weeds, right? Which can happen exponentially, but at the same time, you can't do that while you're trying to figure out how to pay bills, either from hustling or from that business in itself. So that's what I mean when I say someone with their bills taken care of, per se.
Gotcha. All right. So you want to, David, Mike, y'all want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, I'll say a few words on it. It all depends on the business and the employees that you have there, but if you can, get them involved and get them, working right, because a lot of people are the leaders. They go home and it doesn't work. You go to a lot of restaurants nowadays, you see it. Customer service is gone, and that's what we've kind of built right now. And so over the last 40 years, that's what we built in my eyes. And so I think we need to look at what we're doing. Those SOPs they talked about, a lot of them sound good, but don't work. And so again, we really just need to slow down and look at what's working and what's not working, and then go from there, because there's a lot of things out there that don't work right now. And it's time that we shift these things up a little bit. So then it's possible, because again, you get good people, give them opportunity. You can go in there, then you can go home and let them do it, because that it's getting taken care of the way it's supposed to. So
Right.
I feel like we hit a lot of topics right there real fast that probably could take a while to tackle all in themselves. But coming back to the video point specifically of, immediately delegating concepts, I think that's a huge piece. Is you're coming into a business, you're trying to come in for as minimal capital as possible, delegate to others, let them run it. You're still, now to your point, Mike, you're not just disengaging and just, let's hope it works and put an SOP in place, which is a standard operating procedure, by the way, for those watching. SOP stands for that. You put that in place and then everyone knows how to run it. Well, that's great in theory, but not everybody's going to necessarily run it the way that you want to have it run and to the level of expectation you're going to have. So you still want to be involved, but you don't want to work in the business all the day or all the time, every single day, where now it's taking your time and attention and money away from other activities, other ventures, where you could potentially go invest in something else and replicate what he's talking about there. You do it once, then you go again and again and again. The only way this works is if you hire well, you have a good standard operating procedure in place, you still stay involved and watch over what's happening, and you have a very clear vision on what it is you want to execute. And every business is different. Keep in mind too, like if you're buying a fast food franchise versus you're jumping into real estate versus you're buying into, I don't know, the medical industry, or you're going to buy commercial buildings, or name the thing. Everyone's going to be a little different. You can't apply the exact same knowledge and the exact same process to every single business. Some take a little longer to build, some are shorter. Usually the longer the time frame to build this up, the better the profit is, but also the higher the risk there is too. So it's kind of a balancing act there of, do you want short, quick, minimal profits, or do you want high profits with long-term investment and you've got a lot of time and energy, people, things you got to put in place. So putting that all together, that's my 2 cents on it, is just, I think his concept is exactly right on, of simplifying this into these clear steps. But remember that it changes depending on you, the business, the venture, the area you're in, the geography. Like there's so many other factors here. So take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. You may have to pivot, and it may not always work exactly as you want it to work. You might have to change things up, or it could be a loss, and then you move to the next project, and that one is profitable. So,
right, I think it's a good in general statement, like Alton was alluding to earlier.
Yeah,
it kind of oversimplifies, but it does give the virility of, hey, all right, putting something on somebody's mind. All right, I never thought about investing in an ongoing business. So that's kind of the purpose of the actual reel, is kind of just putting that on somebody's noggin. Like, all right, damn, I never thought of that angle, and then start investigating. So of course it's not going to be all the ins and outs, and we can pick it to death, but it's still a good, all right, a nugget. I would say to this, that yes, every business is different. However, I think the main thing I want to get out of this is synergy. It has to have a synergy with what you're already doing and already have a knowledge of. I don't think you want to. I have no expertise in HVAC, and I want to buy an HVAC company. I think the learning curve is going to work against you. I think if it's something that you're already familiar with, like Mike Martin and I are salespeople. Really all of us are salespeople, but something in sales, and I could transfer those skills, and I could work in it, and I could already train somebody up. I think that'll get to where I don't think there's no such thing as an absentee owner, but you can get as close to it as possible if you train up the people and you know the intricacies of the business already. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, too, a lot of people talk about investing, period, like investing in real estate or investing in money. But remembering investing in business is another strategy. And if you're going to do it, this is one of the best kind of foundation level strategies. If you're going to start investing in business, figure this out. This is a key piece. If you're going to buy a business and try to run the business all by yourself, then you're going to have a problem. But if you can buy a business and delegate, hire out to someone else, they run the business for you, then you can step away very quickly and move to the next business. So that's I think a big piece of what he was saying there.
Right, we lost Mike.
We lost Mike for a second.
Yeah,
He's back.
sorry about that.
All right. Let's go to the next clip here.
Did you hit the wrong button, Mike?
No, I had something come in over the line. Sorry about that. I'm new.
Oh, fair enough. No worries.
This one I kind of put in there for Alton. Can y'all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and run it.
Seconds, I'm going to tell you what a developer actually does. So what we don't do, walk around on these construction sites with our fancy suits and our fancy hard hats and yell, hey, get back to work. The real job is actually putting the deal together. We find the land, we find the investors, we find the banks, we find the general contractor, and then we get all of these people and put them together. After that, we get it built, and then we properly manage it afterwards until we're ready to sell. Engineers, architects, investors, GCs, project managers, superintendents, they all report to you. And guess what? When something goes wrong, who do they look for? Whose ass is on the line? Who are the banks going to be calling to get their money back, to foreclose on? It's going to be you. Look, you solve 100 problems before the first nail ever even hits play. You're starting with dirt first, but you have to be able to see the apartments that ultimately you're going to finish building. Not just the buildings, the budgets, the headaches. You have to see past all of that to get to the finish line. So you make it real. That's what a developer has to do. In 60 seconds, I'm going to tell you what a developer actually.
So I thought that was a good clip for those who didn't know. So I give Alton the first stab at that because I specifically put that in there for you. Because some people hear developer and they're like, all right, what is it? What does that mean? So for our audience that might not know, I have some people, I want to be a real estate developer. You don't know what all that entails. Like you're jumping to the deep end, fresh out of school. So kind of, react to the clip and tell them kind of what you do for those that don't know.
Yeah, sure. So I do a form of development. I do land development, not so much house development, but it's very similar in nature. So basically, I look for basically rural land, let's say 50 acres, 100 acres, 150 acres. I buy those parcels, and I walk them through the development process to basically pop out, 2-acre, 5-acre tracts. So basically, we do the replat work. We do the bringing the utilities if there's water that needs to be brought in from wherever, down the road or whatever, and improve roads or so on and so forth, and work with the county in order to replat the property to be residential sites. They may be home sites, they may be family land, they may be X, Y, and Z. It's up to the buyer to determine what they want to do. But basically, we sell those and we seller finance those out. So this does fall right in, I think, line with what I do. I mean, obviously, I don't, like I said, I don't do any vertical. I don't do any building, but I do get the land, the sites, like the home sites, ready, and I think it does give a pretty accurate description as far as for what all goes into that. A lot of people, they're like, oh, you developed all this and did all this and that's the thing, but it's a very clouded view for it, obscure view of it, and really at the end of the day, you are, really the leader of this, the three-ring circus, and you're more, you're playing project management more than anything, but also you're pulling all these pieces together. So yes, I don't have to necessarily know what the best use for this land is, because I can hire a civil engineer to do so. I don't have to know how to, draw these lot lines and so on and so forth, because I hire a surveyor to do so. But at the end of the day, that's, me investing and putting that stuff out, even sometimes before we close, sometimes after we close, depends on whatever, but, bringing the lenders in, I'm bringing the money in, bringing the, the deal and so on and so forth. And sure, you can, GC and LP that in, so like you can say, hey, look, you could have a general, you could be limited partner and then have general partners and raise it like a fund, or you can just get debt on it and basically do it for yourself, or so on and so forth. But you're navigating all these pieces, and yes, you are the person that's on the hook, which that's, I mean, it's what the risk versus reward, and that's kind of what it all plays on. But I think that the video is definitely pretty accurate. And it helps people understand what all goes into that, at least so they can dig into, okay, well, how do I find an engineer to help me do this, and so on and so forth. It kind of sets the stage for that. So I like it.
Gotcha. So since Mike and David, y'all both are not developers, let me pivot the question a little bit, so to kind of, so you have a little bit to comment on there. Have you ever come across any developers in working in your business profession? Also, would you say for our audience, would that be a good avenue to pursue? And I open up the panel that, would you think, all right, this is my experiences with developers, but I would say, nah, don't do it because it's complicated, or I say, yeah, go for it. What would you say?
Oh man, I would say if that's what you like doing, go do it, because
Right.
again, living the American dream, living the dream, right? And so, and I kind of got off last time. It's all in the people that you have, because again, we've kind of all gone scattered a little bit, but we have to count on each other. We need good vendors, contractors, all that kind of stuff to perform their task, but it's a lot of work for people doing living the dream, being the number one person. No one really knows how much work it is. I was shocked when I saw this, how all this stuff they put together. I wouldn't want to be a developer. I have little stuff, and it's, not what the money that is. That would be, that's stress. And again, stress kills you. So, again, that was a very interesting clip to me of what I learned. But at the same time, when you love what you do, you love what you do. And if that's it, man, go for it. And we all need to build towards that, because you look at that person who's in charge and you don't know that that's where you want to be, and so you have to help that guy we in his dream so you can get to your dream. So anyway.
Gotcha.
My-
David, you want?
Yeah, my thought, I was going to take it a little different way, but I'm going to try to address that first. So yes, if you want to be a real estate developer, go nuts. Call Elton. He'll tell you what to do, right? Like, I would say find good people that know what they're doing in the space if you want to do this, so you can kind of have a mentor and see if you can maybe kind of work your way into this. I think trying to jump into something like this with no knowledge, thinking, oh yeah, land's a great investment, I'm going to go be a real estate investor. Hold on a sec. Like, before you just jump in and try to start doing this, as he just shared, there's a lot more to this. So you want to plan this thing out. Be careful with that. Don't just jump in, both feet and go. Do a little bit of research, talk to people that have done this before, get some good, mentors behind you, and then think about going in, maybe even with a partnership or under someone else. Maybe there's even, there are companies out there, by the way, you can do kind of a crowd sharing concept as well, or other things like this where you can like jump in and just, you're throwing money at it, and then someone else is running it. You're just throwing some money at it, and then you get a, guaranteed rate of return of, 6%, 8%, whatever it is, or 12% even on your money. And then now you're involved and you're watching the process and can see it go on. And then you're going to get more experience with it. And then you can kind of see like, okay, that happened. This was a problem. This took place. This was the update. And then you can eventually do this on your own. What I was going to take from this was just in general, when it comes to planning any kind of real estate investment strategy or any business planning strategy, period, going in both eyes open completely of all the things that come into place. I mean, like, as an example, I didn't share this at the beginning. So this is my almost 21 years in the mortgage business, background in financial advising. There's people don't realize in the mortgage space, look, if you're going to go buy a home, people don't realize that there's about 30, 40 people behind the scenes that I'm overseeing, Brandon included here, like both of us are overseeing, that all have to do their jobs in a very specific sequence that we control. Now, they're all independent, but we make sure everything moves along in the right flow all the way through. All the client sees, and oftentimes all the realtor sees, is whatever the loan originator involved is talking about and whatever the client is talking about. And then, of course, the appraisal inspection, because the appraiser physically goes out to the home to look at the home, to evaluate it if there's an appraisal required. Other than that, they're not really involved. They don't know what's going on. And that's why realtors are like, hey, are we done? Are we close? What's happening? What's going on? We have a lot of people involved in this process. There's a lot more to mortgage origination than what most people think. So relating to you a little bit, Alton, on this point of like real estate development, of how many things might be going on, of like, you got to order this, then this, then this, and this person comes in, and there's a lot to it than just putting out a piece of property. There's stuff that has to happen to even get it from land to purchase level. And then now you're at purchase level. Okay, buyer comes in. Great. How's the buyer going to get it from there to closed in their name? Then once it's in their name, now they have to go through the building process if they want to build on the land and develop it. What's that going to look like? Well, that's a whole nother level of process on top of that. So there's so many components to this. It's hard to describe it, and it would take multiple shows to probably break down everything going into land to acquisition to build to completion of you have this property now under your name or LLC or whatever it is. This is a massive undertaking. So I love that this guy in the video points out how involved it is, so that we all have a general sense of how complicated it can be and why we want good professionals behind us to ensure that it's done right.
Gotcha. Just real quickly, just my reaction to it. It's not for the faint of heart. I've been 10 years deep. I'm not even ready for real estate development because it entails so much. So I would say do it in phases. Get to, on the mortgage or the finance side, or get on the real estate side first. Get some properties under your belt. Go for that. Go for multifamily. I would say do it in phases if you want to get into development. That way you're used to some of the ins and outs. You have some good people that you can rely on as far as contractors. You know some of the big players in the space, and then you go from there. If you try to just jump in, I don't know if that. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's improbable. So we'll go from there. But let's go into this next one real quick, and then actually, Mike, I put this in mind for you because let's rock this clip, and I'll react to this one first. So because I'll tell you how this relates to what you do.
Heard about those brothers? They billionaires and they just copy other people's businesses. Have you heard about them?
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah, so they like all over the world. Like any business that blows up, I think like Uber, eBay, Airbnb, a bunch of other businesses. They literally copy. They take it, they rename it something else in another country. They scale it and they sell it. And they do this over and over to the point that they multi-billionaires now. It's two brothers. I think they did like Amazon in another country. Like they just go to countries, whatever got popular and making money, they make it their own version and sell it.
Exactly.
Somebody told me this a long time. They said there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copying the right cat.
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people, we really struggle with that because we want to do things on our own. We want to create our own blueprint. It's like if it's a blueprint already set that you can follow, and it's a person that you actually have access to, why not follow it?
Exactly.
What heard about?
I'll go to first. I get it. Yeah, but I mean, the old school in me won't allow me to fully, lay down to that, because I come from the era of, being like somebody else was blasphemous, and there's a difference. There's a difference between buying a business, taking it over, putting your own stamp, and then this, all right, my business is going to be, you got McDonald's, I got McDowell's. It's two different things. Buying a business and copying somebody is two different things. Is it a formula? Can I knock it? No, I can't knock it because it works. For every vitamin water, there's life water. What is it, Sobe and all of these rest of these that knocked off the vitamin water, invented the space, right? It wasn't quite Gatorade. It wasn't quite water. It was something else. Then they had everything, they had all the copiers coming and took the space up and crowded the market share of it. So that is a thing. You got Uber, then you had Lyft, then you have all the rest of these guys that came in and hopped into space. So you can make money. However, I mean, it's a tough one for me. Do I condone it? I've never tried that. I've never tried to just blatantly copy somebody else. I don't like people copying me. However, it's going to happen. Mike, I want to turn this over to you because you're an inventor. How do you feel about people knocking you off and just trying to create a cheap version of what you do now that they've seen success?
Well, that would mean success, right?
Right.
You get knocked off, right? So
Right.
you could almost take it as a compliment. It's up to the people who are doing the purchasing to stop it. So if you're buying knockoffs, you're buying knockoffs. And if you ever invent something, someone's going to come buy your knockoff. So again, it's just all on, it's the individual that has to, we're the ones who control the fate of who goes and who doesn't. And so if you want to go buy knockoffs, fake Rolexes and stuff like that, or not fake Rolex, I guess that's a bad thing, but let's say someone knocks off my wine bucket and you go buy that. Well, let's say you or your son or daughter invent something. Well, they're opened up to it. So it's up to us, but it's up, nowadays we can get the story out. So now we're individuals who invent and start companies and stuff. And so maybe there's more marketing on individuals and so you can protect it more. But people just have to stop buying. I mean, it's up to the people. If you want to buy knockoffs and buy, steal from people, we can't stop that. And that's just the society we're going to live in. And
Let me ask you this. How do you feel about that? Like when somebody knocks you off or somebody just blatantly copies you?
Again, it doesn't matter how I feel about it. I mean, it's just they're knocking it off. And if they take it, and the society buys it. I mean, I've worked on a weighted scrub brush, and this goes back to SOPs and everything that we been talking about.
Right.
Not everything we're doing works. I mean, again, the mop, which is the number one cleaning tool, the Swiffer, huge success on the Swiffer. And everybody tries to knock them off. I mean, they're trying different things. It's a
The shark and the
paintbrush.
rest of it. Yeah.
It can't work. I mean,
Right.
it's if you put paint in a mop bucket and went to mop the floor, would you be cleaning or painting?
Right.
But everybody owns a mop. Everybody does that. And so, it's what we slow down to see what's actually happening, right? I mean, because we don't always do that. And so that's where I come from. If we're going to have knockoffs, it's because there's a market for it. And we stop the knockoffs and we stop the market for it. So that's what I'm trying to do, is educate people to, individuality nowadays is it. We can all do whatever we want to do. But in this system that we've built, you can't right now. I mean, you just can't. It's if you solve a problem, are you going to make it? I mean, if they cure diseases and it empties hospitals, would they allow it?
Right. So you're saying
I
that
don't know. I don't know the answers to that, but at the same time, they're worth asking. So, but if they want to knock them off, it's a compliment if you ask me. So
you're saying that a couple things, the digestion, I open the floor. So you're saying that you can't stop. It's part of the equation. You just might as well try to minimize it. That's about it. But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So and you're saying that as much as we have the ability to be individual, we choose conformity. We choose to be alike, right? So and I see that even with the youngsters with the haircut. Everybody got the same exact haircut. In my era in the 90s, we used to have, everybody used to try to be different. All right, you got the lines going this way with the Gumby cut. All right, I'm gonna get the lines going this way, so at least try to be different. But everybody has the same exact cut nowadays, even though we're so we got so much more freedom and so much more ways to express ourselves. Everybody expresses themselves the same way. So you're saying that it's gonna, and I see this with my social media posts. So now, as soon as I start with AI, everybody's trying to do the same thing now. Just that quick. Like it's crazy. But I'll go yield the floor, open it up. Anybody want to comment on that as far as copycat, as far as knocking off, as far as do you agree with it, disagree with it?
Alton, you want to go first?
Yes, sir. So I believe that we live in a capitalistic world, and I think that we've come down a long, sad rabbit hole of capitalizing winning in terms of businesses are going to do what businesses are going to do. Yes, there's a moral factor to it for sure, but I think that's where we're at as a society. So you would think that yes, and I do agree with what Mike's saying as far as for it's what is this? It's I'm gonna mess it up. Copycatting is one of the highest forms of flattery, right?
Right.
Like that's not
imitation is the highest form.
Yeah,
of flattery.
imitation
Right.
is good. Yeah, correct. So there's
Right.
definitely that, and I think that's the silver lining in the situation. As far as for that's how I feel specifically for that. As far as for the video take, to be honest with you, I appreciate the work of what the guys have done, obviously, to research and understand the model, or at least identify that there's success in that model for those guys. Like, hey, you did the research to find those guys did this and they worked for them. But honestly, I think just at a snapshot for the video, I think it's a huge miss, because I think there's a huge topic that you're not discussing, which is the fact that what they perfected is really a team or a model of perfecting systemization and execution. And if you take that means that you could take any business and because you built this big machine that can systematize any business and execute any business. And this kind of goes to our first video, back to our first video. Then you're allowing these other companies to do the market research to find the great idea, and then you're basically reverse engineering the idea and saying, hey, you know, we're going to systematize this. We're going to do this. We're going to systematize it and execute it just like we should. Because, you know, here's the deal. It's like what all four of us could be doing the same business, exactly, be in the same business. And what works for you, Brandon, may not work for me, right? And vice versa. I think we've all learned that in terms of business, you know, in general. And so it's not necessarily the fact that they're quote unquote copycatting besides the idea, but more the fact that they've perfected under the understanding that, hey, look, as a quick example, you know, this is kind of an offshoot as far as for an example, but you know, in my truck, when I connect my phone to my GPS, and for some reason I wasn't like when they first started it, I couldn't use my phone while the GPS was connected, or I'm sorry, the map just wasn't connecting right. And in Google, they said, okay, well, rather than trying to fix this, why don't we make this an additional feature, right? Because obviously people want to be able to type in their address, which it was at first it was something that was a malfunction, but then they changed it to say, hey, look, you know what, people want this, so let's go ahead and roll with it, right? And I think if those types of understanding of systematizing and getting feedback and working off of metrics, that's really the skill set of a real manager, a real manager, or a owner, whatever, you know. Those managerial skill sets is really what makes or breaks whether it's a regular business that's coming from scratch, whether it's a duplication business, or so on and so forth. But I think that they failed to address that, period.
Gotcha. David, you
Well,
want
that'd be like China, though, right? I mean, China does the same thing, don't they?
Right, exactly.
So
Yep.
Yeah, they do exactly the same thing.
There's a wise man thousands of years ago that once said, "There's nothing new under the sun." Everything that we see today has been done before to some extent, but now it's being improved upon, changed, mimicked. And like you said, Alton, they're just when it comes to copycatting, that's literally how most businesses today that have become successful are successful. That's exactly what they did. Is they took an idea and they took very key points from this. They extrapolated on it or added to this of this is something that we can enhance and make better or change just a little bit, just tweak it a little bit. And all of a sudden it becomes this brand new business model. And in some cases, it's just kind of a knockoff and everybody's like, whatever. But other times it's blown up and it's a household name brand today for whatever thing that is that you're thinking of. So I think what we watched in this video here of these brothers that are, you know, like them or hate them, they're copying these other businesses and trying to replicate it. There's a reason why they're successful. They did it right. There's nothing that says we can't do the same thing, though, either. That's the great thing is you and I can all do the same thing. We can go out and find, okay, in the mortgage space, in the real estate development space, in the inventor space, in whatever space you're in, go find other people, connect with like-minded people, collaborate, and learn what they're doing that makes them successful, and see if there's a way you can adapt that and make it your own. Because even if you copy exactly what they've done, it still won't be exact because it's going to be your version, your interpretation, your flavor, your personality style. We can, like Brandon, you and I can give the exact same mortgage script on a video and it'll come across completely different for both of us. You'll probably blow up faster than me just because you're better at the audience than I am. But very different styles, I think, could, in theory, depending on what the topic is, be handled very differently. So we all have the capability of doing this. Years ago, I used to think, why would I reach out to or look up other professionals in my space? Like all the professionals to watch and follow and research. Like, why would I look at my fellow colleagues? That's my competition. Like, I want to go see what the real estate people are doing, the financial people are doing, the business people are doing. I don't care about the other mortgage people. Whatever they're doing, I don't care. I'm a mortgage guy. I don't want to deal with my competition. I don't want to even interact with them if I don't have to. But then I realized if you find good people in this space and we all collaborate, the good people are willing to share too. Like if I call up one of the top producers in the country guaranteed practically, if you call one of the top 1,000 loan originators in the United States, they will almost all pick up the phone and say, I will happily give you my time. David, Brandon, Mike, Alton, here's whatever you want to know. Ask your questions and I'll give you the answers. And they're an open book. And I'm the same way. Call me up. I'll give you my entire playbook. Everything
But
I do. Successful.
Would you give that to a thief, right? Someone who steals. So
exactly. But that's the key but what's considered stealing too? What's stealing? It right? Now in your space, Mike, it's extremely important that there's a differentiation between that, right? The patents and Shark Tank, which is one of our next videos, by the way. Shark Tank, is it patented? That's one of the main questions they ask every time. Is it patented? Is it patented? Big question, because there's a difference in your world of invention than in sales strategies, tactics, marketing kind of a thing too. Like, so they're depending on the business you're in, that can also change the flavor of how this looks too.
Let me ask this question. Do you think in some cases awareness and pride impedes progress in certain cases? And what I mean by that is just like, I'm from Gen X, so a lot of Gen X, we missed the boat on, hey, we, instead of looking at a business like, hey, I like what he's doing, but I can improve it like this. We don't even look that way because, hey, this is his thing. Let me go and find something different. And you might have an idea on how to improve this business, like Mike, like David said earlier, that one tweak will make it a household name, but it's so much of a mental block. We won't even look that way. We won't give it much thought because somebody beat me to it. Somebody's already got it. Let me go somewhere else and try to. So, are we missing out on opportunity?
You're not asking. You're not asking. Go talk to the person. I wish people would come talk to me. I mean, again, if you want to do something that's similar to somebody, go talk to them and see if you can be part of it. You know. Right. Again, it's I've been fighting industry for 31 years on some things, and so again, I understand that the world that we're in, and what we're talking about, this business stuff. Business is an interesting thing because, again, a mop's a paintbrush, and it's one of the number one cleaning tool in the world. And so, I mean, can we explain that? And I don't want to talk about me or anything like that, but that's just, we use a mop. What's that?
That's we know, and nobody ever thought that. Is that not what I'm talking about right now? Is that's all we know? We never thought. So somebody already got something to clean the floor. So let me think of something else. Let's go somewhere totally different. Do we not? We never thought to analyze it like you did.
Well, no, we never stopped to analyze it because we're taught from our childhood, when the things that we see. I think we're born into a classroom, so everything that we see as we're growing up, those are familiar to us. We see business, we see government, we see mopping on TV. Again, I was watching a movie the other day, and they put a mop bucket in just about every movie out there to show work, and yet it doesn't work. So when they're putting all this stuff on TV, are we learning from that? Plato talks about the cave, right? Is that our cave? Is that what we're being taught? Because again, you tell anybody a mop doesn't work and they go, yeah, I know it. But then they go use it.
Right. But isn't that the programming? Isn't that part of the programming?
That is the programming, yeah.
Right.
So, but how do you break the programming? By awareness, like you're saying. I mean, you just have to, awareness is what stops it all. If we slow down instead of just
you're starting to peel the onion a little bit on what I want to get to.
I got you.
Is it not that a lot of people are incapable of scratching beneath the surface?
Wait,
they're not
as it is, all right. Right. Just to land the plane. All right. Mops are for the cleaner floor. If I want to get investing, I need to get into real estate. I don't know about buying business. Do we accept what's given to us instead of scratching beneath the surface? Also, are we scared to the pride? And I want to take these 2 points. The pride, all right, somebody's already in this space, so I'm not even going to approach them. I'm going to do something else. I don't even take the bandwidth to even exhaust my idea because he's already beat me.
Yeah,
Does that
we,
make
yeah, we definitely met 100% of the shop we don't take. And I think that for every entrepreneur that has a successful business, there's been five that have done it. Right? I mean, well, I shouldn't say. I'm not saying.
Go to the mic. I think it's when you get away from the mic. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, I was saying we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. Number one, and number two is, for every successful business that's out there, there were 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 that were unsuccessful. And that's kind of the ritual, right? That's what it takes, and unfortunately, not everybody has that. But then, in addition to that, as you say, not everybody has the understanding. You can hear me?
Yeah, the capability, I would say.
Yeah, the capability to digest and question everything, right? Like at the end of the day, it's like, hey, how do we know that this shoe fits? Okay, we try it on. Okay, but even when we try it on, and we sit there and we look at it and said, okay, that looks good on my foot. No, I need to go walk on it. Okay, let me go walk on it. Okay, now, so it's these steps of questioning questioning if the truth is the actual truth. And when you talk about a mop working, it's like, well, does it really work? Like, okay, well, where else do we do something like this? Okay, well, how does that work? Innovation is made out of necessity, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really being able to apply that understanding of, hey, look, is there innovation that can be had here? And questioning if the mob mentality of the situation is valid. And I think that a lot of people don't possess that capability.
Can I add one other thing too? Is I think a lot of people, when they look at a business or they look at a concept or an invention or whatever it might be, most people might think, well, I think I can make this better, and or maybe they're going to invest. Like coming back to the first video, let's invest in real estate or let's invest in whatever. And they want to follow the same thing that everybody else has always done. It takes a very specific mindset, a person's mind, to read between the lines, think outside the box of, now here's everything good and everything bad with it. How can I improve this? Who are the people I need involved with this? How can I delegate this? Like tying in what we've already talked about earlier, there's a whole level of other thinking with this concept here that if you do it right with the copycatting, it actually isn't copycatting almost anymore. You're changing it completely. You're reinventing the concept. This is not, I understand how some people might say, this is a knockoff. Oh, there's already we're using the analogy of a mop. There's already a mop and you just made a better mop or a different mop and like whatever. But if you step away and look back at what is that inventor thinking though, of how did they go about this process? They probably thought about this for a long, long time and thought through who, how, why, when, where, all the questions you needed to ask ahead. And they planned this out and figured out this is where to go. Because not every single thing that you can copy should be copied. And not everything you can copy can be improved upon or should be improved upon. So I think there's an art to it as well. There's an art or artistry to how do you go about doing this? If you want to be using my profession, a good mortgage professional, there's 1,000 different ways to run this business well. Which one are you going to do? And the ones that can think outside the box and come up with the artistry of, well, maybe if I just changed this and approached it this way and added in this tech and changed the strategy here, proposed it this way, now it sounds different. And all of a sudden they go from zero to top level player overnight because they marketed themselves differently. Mm-hmm. It can be that simple. And it's the same exact product. It's not even it's not even changing it. It's the same product. Yeah. So marketing is another big piece of it. It's not even just reinventing and copying. It's the marketing of the thing.
Well, if I could say, it's not disrupting. Let's put it that way, because disrupting is what gets you held out. So if you go along and you build the same thing and you're just better than anybody else, yeah, they allow you to go.
Yep.
But as soon as you start disrupting and start hitting cash flows, then it turns into a different game.
Yep, that's actually it's one of the books. I'm not sure if it's there. There's a book, Disrupt or Die. If anybody hasn't read that, it's a great book, Disrupt or Die. And
Well-
it's somewhere back here on the shelf, but it's a great little itty bitty book that just kind of explains that concept of disruption or you're not going to succeed.
Right. So let's get to the next clip. And then after this, we're going to talk about the BDM program real quick. And then I want to kind of we're starting to peel back the onion. I want to really get to the meat of the conversation.
By the way, for those watching, Brandon has a secret theme every week
Right.
that he doesn't even tell me about up front. So I
Well,
have to
not
guess along with you.
What is it like less than 5% of the show that people really don't get the theme? You know, I think, like I said, it's very, very rare. Very rare people get half time is all interweaved to underlying theme, but we'll see. I don't want to let's get to the meat of it. But Mike brought up a good point. Alton brought up a good point as far as peeling back the onion on where I want to get to. So let's go into this next one.
Love it.
All right, can y'all see the screen here?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
We're going to see for the rest of the decade is very similar to what we saw in the 80s. So if you guys don't know what happened from 1978 to 1981, we saw real estate transactions crash 50%. They were 4 million in 78 and they were 2 million in 81, 50%. What did we just go through? We went from a total collection of nearly 7 million to 4 million. Why? Because affordability sucked. Affordability was never worse than 1981. Today's the second worst.
In 81, I know that the San Diego median home price was less than $100,000.
And mortgage rates were 18%. That was the key, right? Rates. So your question was, what's going to happen? Again, if you go from 4 million to 2 million, 78 to 81, guess how long it took to go back to 4 million transactions?
I'm going to say 4.5 years.
No, 1996.
Damn.
15 years. It was just a slow build every year. So that's what I think is coming back. We are not going to have a V-shaped recovery in transactions. It won't be till 2031, 2032 until we're back to 6 million. I think what we're going to
David, I want to get you have a quick stab at that because you're a stat person and you're in the real estate space.
Yeah.
You want to take a first stab at that?
Yeah, sure. So I started in the industry in 2005 and started it with my wife and I both. We just gotten married, financial advisor background, but with mortgage lending as well as part of our repertoire of things we could do. So everybody that we were meeting with was wanting to buy a home, refinance their rates because rates were coming down and everything was affordable and everything was great and the market was rocking. And all of a sudden, no mortgage applications were getting approved around middle of 2007-ish. Everything we sent in started getting denied. And we're like, this is weird. What's going on? And sure enough, we all know what happened. 2008 housing crisis and everything kind of bottomed out. But to this guy's point about people right now, I think, are looking at this through the lens of what they're familiar with, of what they know, because all everyone knows for the most part, looking at real estate today, is rates were at the highest in the last couple of decades, practically 8%-ish, like average rate. And then they've been down, up, but overall, most of that time, they were way less than 8%. So right now, everyone's thinking, well, it's still not 2.5, 3 like it was. So maybe it'll come back down. Maybe it'll get more affordable. But the reality is, back in this time period, we were looking at, as you just shared, 18+% interest rates at that time. I mean, now granted, like if you ask somebody back then, hey, if you could buy a house today at 18% or I could get you 16%, would you buy the house then? I'll bet you'd have thousands of takers. Like if you can give me a 2% lower rate, man, I would buy today. 16%, that sounds amazing. Perspective. Today, average interest rate as of mortgagenewsdaily.com, which is what I encourage my clients to track because it's the most accurate place to track what rates are doing. As a whole, 6.625, 6.75, somewhere in there. Like that's probably the average rate today. My goodness, people in the 80s would have killed for that. But in our world, we're thinking, well, but it was 2.875 just how long ago? So that sounds high. Well, you're comparing the wrong circumstances, and that, to be honest, that never should have happened in the first place. That's a whole nother conversation. Those rates never should have existed in the first place. That's the government getting involved in printing money out of thin air, decreasing the dollar, and increasing inflation, which created an inflation crisis, which created the higher rates and the housing crisis and all these other things. So had nothing ever happened, this is where we probably should be anyway. This is pretty average. So just looking at the perspective of, we are technically in a very high cost scenario. This is a challenging market for a lot of families right now. And it's not because of the rates necessarily, and it's not because housing is going up drastically. We're seeing it relatively stable. The problem that we're running into is wages are not keeping up with inflation. And with all the changes to the tax code and people not having education on how to, as we talked about already, how to get into investing in businesses and real estate and all these other concepts, there's a lack of education. So a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. In fact, we talked about this, I think, on either the last show or the show before. The average first-time home buyer today is age 40. 40 years old before they buy their first home. I mean, my goodness, you have 40, there's a proven stat, renters versus homeowners. Homeowners have 40 times the wealth of renters. That's a stat. 40 times the wealth of renters. So why you would wait till age 40 to buy a home doesn't make any logical financial sense in any capacity. But there's a lack of education. A lot of people don't understand what's involved. And unfortunately, they're leaning on AI and Google and things like this to try to direct them on what they need to do. And there's still a lot of misconceptions. Even if you do type in these searches, there's still a lot of things that are incorrect in the results that come back. So just landing the plane here, what this guy's sharing about, we're in technically the second least affordable market that we've seen in a long, long time. That might be true, but it's still not nearly as bad as most people might think if you have the right strategy, systems, people in place. It's just a matter of education to solve for it this time. Thankfully, you can get ahead of this. You can solve for it. In the past, you may not have been able to. In the past, you might have been stuck. That is what it is. Like, there's no way around it. There are no exceptions. There's no solutions. Now there are solutions to this to make it easier, to make it more affordable. But a lot of people may not realize that out of the gate. So this is where the education comes in, and this expands beyond the mortgage advisor too, like the real estate developer, Alton yourself, like maybe you're talking to somebody about buying land or talking to these developers. How can you and I partner together, or the builder partner together down the road when somebody wants to build, and tying in all the different entities to make the whole thing more affordable, providing better education and leading the client through the process. We do this the right way, it can go really, really well. But that's my thought. I probably could go another 20 minutes on this, so I'll land the plane there.
All right, so just pointing it before I let chime in on it, to kind of point it to kind of where I want to what I got from it and where I want to discuss it is you alluded to it a little bit as well as about mind frame and perception. I think a lot of people are in a going catatonic a little bit because of the current circumstance, and they're scared to make any type of move, whether it be buying a business, whether it be real estate, whether it be anything. And you have that half, and then you have the other half that's really capitalizing on this. Our show is about those people that's either on the fence about hopping on this side as far as ownership, or that's already capitalizing and want to enhance what they're doing. So we're talking about that mind frame. I think what I got from the video is that a lot of people are thinking that the anomaly is the norm, and they're waiting for that, and they're gonna keep waiting. And other people see opportunity, and opportunities right now, because we're at the Great Reset. This is like right before in Europe where the Industrial Revolution came in. When they start making machines, took over, and everything, start making everything. that's where we're going right now. That's what it is right now. So a lot of people see the opportunity and are going full speed ahead. A lot of people are waiting. They're waiting for 5 years ago. They're waiting for wages to pump up and equal to what's going on, and it's gone. And we talked about this last week. Is that, and I'm glad you showed that Robert Kiyosaki clip, and that's kind of part of it. We'll play it for a different show. But Robert Kiyosaki talked about that you're able to. AI is going to enable somebody to run a business on their own, and you're going to need multiple of them. You're going to need probably 5 or 6 just to keep up with what you used to do 5 to 6 years ago, and that's the new economy. You're going to need a business that we talked about this last week, 24-hour YouTube that's faceless, that's generating X amount of dollars. I need that to pay X, Y, and Z. All right, I'm going to need this to do this. And I can get bots and I can get AI to do all this from a laptop. I don't need to sit there and hire employees and manage anymore. This is the new AI revolution, the industrial revolution that's coming about right now. How this relates to what we're talking about. It relates to this. It's mind frame. You're stuck in the past and you're stuck in the 5 years ago. You're stuck in hey, it should be this, the rate should be this. And I'm waiting on them to come back down to this. And I'm waiting on people to hand stitch silk garments like they used to. And I'm waiting for people to type out. I want my books typed out. It's never coming back. It's never coming back. This is what it is. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious, and it's going to be 10x. And instead of doing one thing, I'm able to do 10 things because I got a whole system behind me that's artificial that's running it. Before, and I'll land the plane with this. Before we used to have, and you said it earlier, David, there's nothing new under the sun. They used to have birds and they put a message on it and they let the bird go. And then people catch the bird and read the message. Now we have what's called text messages and stuff like that and emails. So it's changed.
It's changed, but it's still the same thing. You're delivering a message from one person
right,
to another.
But it's faster. I'm able to do more. I don't have to train the bird. I don't have to catch the bird, wrap the message around, write the message out, wrap it around us. Then I sit there and wait for it to come. All right, there's a bird with a message. Let me grab it.
I kind of wish we still had that, to be honest. I wish a bird would fly down and bring me a message. That'd be so cool.
But how idiotic? I don't want to say. Let me find a better term. How asinine is somebody that's waiting for that to come back?
Right.
Yeah. No. I mean, we live in
Alton, come for whatever reason. Your mic doesn't pick you up. You're not leaning in. I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
So make sure you lean in when you talk.
So it's fine. Yeah. So we live in 2026. And in this world today, and I'd say this, let me put it this way. So I used to work where my foundation, right, was in IT, right? I was doing project management. I did some coding and so on and so forth, and X, Y, and Z, network engineering, and all this kind of stuff back before I did real estate. And I'll say that going from the moment that I stopped working in tech, they just like with computers where, it used to be back in the day, you go buy a computer from Best Buy or wherever you buy it from. And, 6 months later, a year later, they're already trying to sell you a new one because it's got more RAM, it's got more this, it's got more that, and so on and so forth. And I think that that's the world that we live in today. When I stopped doing tech, how quickly I got out of the loop surprised me. And I still integrate a lot of tech in what we do and for our company and for the stuff that we do. But I'll tell you this is, if you're that person that's sitting on the sidelines and not using, whether it's AI, whether it's, automation, whatever, so on and so forth, you have to understand that every day you're getting more and more behind the curve. Your brain, you're going to get to the point where your brain just isn't going, or not even your brain. It's just like if as a 20-something-year-old or a 30-something-year-old, you looked at, your parent or grandparent navigate a computer and it was the slowest mouse moving you've ever seen in your life. You're going to be that person if you are not at least playing in that space on a consistent basis. And that's not a jab at anybody or anything like that, but just understand that same, like, I mean, that 6 month, 1 year time frame or whatever, it's now been condensed into like 2 weeks, a month. You know, I mean, so many things are happening so quickly. And if your ear is not to the pavement, then you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're digging yourself a hole that you're not going to be able to bounce back from.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to use that crazy rhetoric. I shouldn't say crazy, but that aggressive rhetoric. But it is that aggressive in today's world.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Can I recommend subscribe if anybody watching, subscribe to places that you can watch and follow. Like, we all follow people on social media. Follow companies and people that are utilizing AI well, so that way you can learn from them. We're talking about the copycatting thing here. Learn from what others are doing and take advantage of the concepts, how to prompt AI. What is AI? Which AI should you use? All of that. Which, by the way, if anybody would like just a plug here, just happened to find this. There's a site called magica.com. Anybody watching wants to go there, magica.com. It is 6,000 AIs all in one place, so you don't have to go figure it out. You just tell it what you want, and it'll tell you which AI you need. So I've found it extremely helpful myself for that. But try to follow people and things that do this stuff, so that way you don't have to go figure it out on your own. You just watch what others are doing and copy it.
Gotcha.
And
Mike,
what was it called again?
Let me throw it in the chat here for everybody watching. I'll throw the link in here in the chat.
All right, cool, thanks.
Mike, you want to chime in on that before we go to the next one? Actually, before we go to the next one, we're going to really break down the little quick minute intermission. If y'all want to grab a break or grab a water, we're going to play the BDM clip after my comments, and then we're going to go to the last couple of clips after that. So we're going to start really digging into this. Mike, you want to go in on that?
Yeah, I would just say, AI, I love it, and use it a lot. And so, again, I say go with it. All the other stuff, that's a little bit over my head. I don't, I'll let you brokers and real estate and all them talk about that. So,
Gotcha.
I'll
But
stay in my lane on
bring
that
it down. I want to extract out of there people that's looking in the rearview mirror, and don't forget the rearview mirror is about that big. The windshield is.
I don't know anybody that does that though. I mean,
you don't?
No.
No,
Not that
I'm talking about people that's, hey man, I'm waiting for these rates are high, and and complaining about not buying right now, and everybody want to hold on their pockets. Nobody's doing that right now.
Well, no, they're doing that because it's risky, isn't it? I mean, it's dangerous out there right now. I mean, the world's kind of upside down, so everybody's just kind of sitting and waiting. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. Isn't the time? Would you not invest in the steam engine right before it was about to kick off? Would you not invest in .com right before it was about to kick off?
I mean, all my money, no. I mean, again, so, I mean, if you said it earlier, how much does it cost you to ship that product? $35? That's real.
Right.
I mean, so people really aren't looking at that right now. They're trying to hang on and survive. And so,
right. We're about to talk about that. You get into it. We're about to talk about that here in a second. David put this in the actual chat here.
So again, just you know what's funny? Just commenting on this briefly. I put this out as a social media post the other day, and I pushed it. I promoted it on the Meta platform, Facebook and Instagram, just to see like how it would do if anybody wants access. I'm like, I just put it like, are you sick and tired of trying to figure out all these AI technologies? Like every day there's a new one. Like if you're like me, like I feel the same way. I'm like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Nano Banana, name the thing. Like there's thousands of these things. I don't know which one to use. And a friend of mine told me about this thing, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like this solves and I've been using it like every day for so many things now, because I just tell it what I want it to do, and then it figures out what I need. and it tells me which platform to use. So I'm like, this is so helpful. So I put this out. I was not expecting the backlash. I had hundreds of angry viewers and comments coming back that I had to hide and delete and whatever, like, and try to address, because I'm like, I'm so sorry if I offended you. Like, everyone's, the AI is taking over. This is horrible. You're killing the environment with this. Like, I completely understand their perspective. At the same time, it's not me. AI is here. It's coming. It's not going anywhere, and it's only going to keep evolving. So if you want to be one of those people that takes advantage of it, here's a nice, easy way to do it. So I just found that interesting that so many people had so many negative thought processes with this too, which comes back around to kind of what we're talking about of just, Brandon, you mentioned of like, there's those people that are trying to thrive, build their business, grow, evolve and get to that next point. And there's those that just are complacent or don't care or are angry and frustrated at the system. And there's kind of like two schools of thought here. So for those watching, this is for those that want to embrace the technology and use this for you and your family to grow and develop. What do you want to do?
Real quickly, you want to do a real quick 15-second
program, yeah.
The BDM program.
So we're about to play a quick little commercial video. We do this every show now. So Nexa Lending is who Brandon and I both work with. So I have mortgage advisor to my title. He has mortgage broker, same exact thing, basically. But Nexa Lending is the largest mortgage brokerage in the history of the United States. We have over 300 lenders we can shop with in wholesale rate pricing. And because we're the largest, we have the best wholesale rate pricing in the mortgage industry of any other broker, period, even comparing other brokers together. So we created a program and we spearheaded this that others coincidentally are trying to copy in our industry to try to imitate what we're doing now. And they can't quite replicate it the way we're doing it because no one has the model that we have, where you can legally get paid a commission for the referrals you bring to Nexa Lending.
Well, it's not referrals.
Specifically, though, we're not. When we talk about this, it's not a referral.
Right.
We're paying you for your marketing efforts. A lot of people think referral, again, marketing efforts in what you're doing, not a referral specifically, because we can't legally pay an unlicensed person for a name, phone number, email. However, if you are actively promoting Nexa Lending, we can legally pay you a commission for your marketing efforts that you're putting in place. So we want to make sure for anybody watching here, whatever background you have, if you think this might be a good fit for you or someone you know, please bring this to their attention as well. Introduce them to Brandon and I. The QR code at the top right of the screen here actually will bring you to my calendar. We'll schedule a one-to-one interview together, and we'll be able to have a conversation about how this works, what's involved. It's very easy, but Brandon created a great video that kind of highlights and explains this in a little bit more detail. And then at the end of this, I'll just recap this in 30 seconds or so.
All right. So again, this is going to be 55 seconds. So now be a good time for a bathroom break or whatever you want to do. Wrong thing.
If you're a realtor and you're not getting paid for the mortgage conversations you're already having, we need to talk. You're speaking to buyers, sellers, past clients, your sphere every single day. And every time financing comes up, you're creating opportunity, but you're earning zero from it. At Nexa Lending, we've built a compliant business development manager program that lets you get paid for the business you generate without becoming a loan officer. No licensing, no quoting rates, no collecting docs. You simply connect people. We handle the mortgage. You get paid as a W-2 business development employee. Refinances, your CRM, your sphere, other agents you introduce. You're already creating the business, now you monetize it. If you're serious about adding a real additional income stream this year, click the link, message me directly, and let's get you activated in under 10 minutes.
Perfect. So this is the BDM program, which stands for Business Development Manager or Marketer, depending on the marketing you're looking at. Very simple process. Happy to explain more. But my argument is if you are in any space possible where you are interacting with potential buyers, people that could refinance, or investors, this is something you should already have been signed up for yesterday. Let's talk about what the income potential might be for you and what the next steps could be from there as well, especially if you're in the real estate game. Because if you want to take this to another level, there are people here at Nexa making thousands, if not tens of thousands a month doing this concept just through their marketing efforts. So please reach out to us. We would love to have that conversation.
Gotcha. Can y'all see the screen?
Yes, sir. Let's go to the next clip.
Just pass the law. If you're homeless, you get an automatic 2 years in the penitentiary, and you get to go out and pick cotton, because that's what they do in the penitentiaries down there, Alabama, and a few other southern states. So let's just cut through the chase. They just legalized slavery. That's all. Slavery is back under a new motherfucking name. It's called homelessness.
You know, one of the things that we can also say is that scripture doesn't necessarily follow the politic or the policy of some, even in deep red ruby states. I wanted to throw this up about Louisiana, and there is a state house bill that's advanced that would force unhoused people to choose between jail or a treatment program. If they choose treatment, they have to pay for it themselves. And if they can't afford to pay, they'll be forced to do unpaid labor.
That's slavery.
But you done drove up the price for a house so motherfucking high, and the wages staying the same, that they can't afford a house. So of course they're gonna end up homeless. And now you got motherfucking homeless to slavery. It used to be drugs to the penitentiary. Now it's homeless to slavery. If you're homeless in Louisiana, please go knock on a relative's door and see if they'll let you stay there. Because otherwise, you're gonna be picking cotton.
Yeah. Eddie Griffin's a comedian, by the way, so you know he always has a colorful take on things. I'm gonna open it up to the panel. Well, let me go ahead in on this. I don't know. I hadn't done much research on it as far as the bill in Louisiana. I want to get people's opinion, the panel's opinion. What do you think? Should homeless people be jailed, or do forced labor, or hey, you got a choice, either go to this treatment program, which you're gonna pay back, or you gotta, we gonna put you, we gonna clean you up on the street, but you can't just hang out here. So is that fair? Like, are we forcing accountability, or do you think it's unhinged, cruel? What do you think about this? So I'll open it up to the panel, but I'll give my opinion last. Let's do that. I'll make people wait on that. So I'll open it up real quickly. So let's go to the guest first, and then David, if you want to chime in on that, the co-host, and then we'll go from there. Alton, Mike.
I'll chime in. We use our SOP is we use a mop, which is a paintbrush, to clean our floors. That's in janitorial. That's in all of y'all's, in your commercial properties, wherever. We're all using mops. And so if we can't figure that out, we're going to start throwing homeless people in jail if they don't. Again, it's just, that's insane. We have so many bigger problems than all this. We need to figure out why they're going homeless. Most likely because they're getting crushed, right? Why do they do drugs? I mean, everybody talks about all the drugs coming over our border. Why is everybody on drugs? Right? So something's broken in here. No one will look at what's broken. And so I say that's what we do, because again, I know one, everybody's got black grout. Grout's not black, but it's everywhere. So again, I thought that was pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. I don't know the answer to the homeless problem. It's a huge problem, but who caused it? I mean, it's here. Something happened to cause this, and we act like it's all their fault. Well, it's our fault too, because we're the ones that built the system. So until we start looking in the mirror with that awareness that you're talking about, and start looking about what we built to get where we are, like I said, $35 to ship a product. And that the other video that had the guy who ran the jobs, right? How much shipping does he do? And that's all in the price of a house. And it's $35.
Right.
Again, we're building something that doesn't work. So that's what I got. I didn't like it earlier when I saw it, and I don't like it now. So
Right. I'll let Alton go before I get into I'll let Alton go. Go ahead. Do you want to? What do you feel about that video? Pro, against, so on and so forth.
I think that homeless. I'm sorry. Let me step. So I think that homeless is a byproduct of homeless. The amount of homelessness is a byproduct of failed system. I think that there definitely needs to be a little better analysis, or I mean, okay, I feel that there should be a little better analysis as far as for what's causing it. I agree with Mike in that regard. However, at this point, I think that the just the byproduct that we're seeing and the increase of that byproduct could possibly be perceived as in a divisive nature in a grand scheme of things. Who knows? But I think that, and it's interesting that this approach would be taken. And obviously, there's rhetoric behind the video, and I'm sure that has its own perspective versus, and there's an alternative perspective for it. And I'm not necessarily saying I lean into that in any way, shape, or form, but at the same time, if that's the new law, that's the direction that it's taking. Obviously, the intention is becoming a lot more vocal as far as for what the plan is in that grand scheme, or at least the nature of the mindset of the people who are bringing that forth. And I think that that's kind of where we're at as a nation. What do they always say? The quiet parts are being said out loud. And I think that this is no different than what we've been seeing. That's really all I can say about it. I mean, yeah.
Right. David, I don't know if you heard the frame.
I apologize. Yeah, I had technical issues for whatever reason. As soon as the video ended, I couldn't hear Mike at all. So everything you said, I missed, and Alton, only part of yours. So.
Well, I'll go, and then I kind of
please take over if you would, and then I'll piggyback off of that. I apologize sincerely, guys. I don't know what happened there.
I think it comes down to choices. I think everybody has the free will. Everybody has choices to make, and everybody there's communal to a sense, but I think that's the capitalism part. I think capitalism, we have the right to choose on where we want to donate our time, donate our resources. I think everybody has the same 24 hours. Not everybody has the same start, but however, you have the same abilities. You have the same opportunities. So as far as homelessness, I think a lot of them make a series of bad choices. I don't know their circumstance. I don't know everyone. I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, we're talking 51% or more. There's reasons. I don't think it's a conspiracy to jack the prices up. I don't think it's a conspiracy that they're trying to force people into homelessness. I think it's a natural product of the economy is getting more advanced. I think things are getting more expensive. And it's part of the natural progress of the game, of the economy. I think we could look at it two different ways. We could look at it, the world's against me against the world. Or we could look at it that, hey, I'm in the game. I got two limbs. I got my eyesight. I got sound mind, and I'm able to score some points. And look at the tools that's available and make the best out of what I got. Or we could cry about it, So I can't speak to, because I didn't research to see if that's true or if that's hype. As far as the Louisiana thing, will it go nationwide? I doubt it. So will it go anywhere? Will it pass legislation? I doubt it. So I don't think it don't make sense to get riled up about it. I don't think if it was, would I agree upon it? Obviously, if they voted for it, that's what y'all wanted. I don't live in Louisiana, So to make I'm neutral anyway. If that's the law, that's the law. I don't put bandwidth or energy in something that I don't have nobody around me, and I will never be homeless. You know, because again, I practice abundance. You know, so it's just not in my bandwidth. However, do I, you know, capitalism to cause? I always talk about that. As far as do I have a cause? Is that one of my? Yeah, I offer solutions. You want to get out of your situation? Here goes some work. I got work for you. You know, but you got to be willing to work and not just want to have to take. If you want to work, I got opportunity for you. You know, so and you can work your way out of your situation. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in handouts. I don't believe in leveling the playing field. I don't believe in grading on the curve. I believe A students should be A students and B students should be B students, and that's the way it should be. There's winners, there's losers. It is what it is. And I'll yield the floor from there.
Yeah, I will still argue, of course, that, and I think Brandon, you'll support me on this point of equal human rights. Obviously, of no one should be treated as a slave or have to face something that is completely inhumane, no matter what circumstances you have. Like that is something that no one should have to face in the entire world. There's no reason for it. But one of the things that can help with this, to your point, is choices. Just if you and education. The more you know about how these things work, which is part of why we do this show, is kind of giving. I mean, we don't make any money from this. This is just something we want to do. Invest our time every Monday night. We want to invest our time to give back to the community. Of if you are someone watching this, hopefully the videos we share, the commentary, the links, whatever we have, something will help drive you, spark something to help you take that next step to do the next thing that will drive you to that next level of taking the power of ownership back in your life in whatever capacity that might be. And when we talk specifically about homelessness, housing, that's a big one. This is something that I think is not as hard to solve for as most people think. The average person, the number one reason why most people think they can't qualify to buy a home and they don't have a home is because they think that you need 20% plus to buy a home. And that's not true. Depending on the circumstances, most people can buy a home for 0 to 5% down. That's it. 0 to 5% of the home price. That's all you need. Very, very easy. If you just plan a little bit, talk to a good advisor that has the right resources, the right things that you can put in place, and is willing to take the time, by the way, to educate on how this concept works. So many resources out there. It's so easy. But for those that are already in homes, even though, just on the other side of this, I actually looked this up before the show, and I wanted to provide the stats. What do you think right now? And I'm curious on the panelists here. What do you think right now the average home foreclosure / bankruptcy rate is year over year since last year? Do you think it's gotten better, gotten worse, stayed the same? What would you say? Like 1%, 50%, 1,000%, 12%, whatever. Like, what do you think? Bankruptcy, foreclosure, where do you think it's gone? Up or down, and how much?
I think up and like by 20-25%. I think
20-25% up. Okay. Mike, what do you think? Thoughts?
I have no idea.
Guess? Okay. Brandon?
I would think it's up, but I don't want to guess the percentage. I'm not sure.
Okay. I didn't know before looking it up. I'm just curious, like thought perspective. So it's not quite as high as you said there, Alton, but the year over year nationwide average is about 18% foreclosure rate up and 11.9% bankruptcy rate up from last year. So we're heading the wrong direction. We're going to see this continue to increase with homelessness. So be prepared.
Is it? Let's just for time's sake, let's point the conversation.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon. Challenge me on this.
Is it the wrong direction, or is it part of the natural cycle?
It is part of the natural cycle. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah, you're not gonna eliminate bankruptcies. You're not gonna eliminate foreclosures.
Yep.
It is what it is. Part of most people. I don't say most people. There are a section of the market that will bite off more than they could chew.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. You know, you can't eliminate that. It's about taking financial responsibility. It's about taking ownership of what your situation.
Keep in mind,
And
part
then-
of that is job losses as well, though, which we've
Well,
seen
that's what
drastic tick up in.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Before I land the plane here, we're talking about adapting. A lot of people still have the idea of working in a factory and raising 3 children. That economy is gone. That is gone. That's our grandfather's situation. That's not our situation. What we talk about on the Power of Ownership podcast is future forward, which is the new economy. You're going to have several businesses. Also, you might want to look international since everything is becoming close. You might want to look at, if you can't keep up with the pace of the United States, maybe living somewhere else and having businesses in the United States. That's a possibility as well. So there's all kind of opportunities out here. It's just, I think the capability is limited by your ability to see opportunities that's there. A lot of people limit their ability. They see the world as everybody against them, or they see the universe as everybody against them. When the universe works for you, it's going to give you exactly what you want to see. So you want to see doom and gloom. You want to see, I'm trapped. I painted myself in a corner. That's exactly what you're going to see. Now, let's talk about opportunity. Let's talk about specifics. If you're an investor, if you have an issue with the homelessness problem, that's what SplitPad is for. That's what the Alton does with the affordable housing development. He does. Get into that sector if you want to aid, and you don't see doom and gloom. I see opportunity. All right, I see a lot of people can't afford houses. All right, rent this for $100 a week or $100 a month or whatever you got, and you got a room and you got a shared shower where you share down the hallway, and it's called pad split. And that's what you get into. And that's going to be the new economy. People are going to move. It's going to be nomadic. People are going to move city to city, and they're going to be on a weekly basis. You're in the room, and that's great for the investor because now I got 9x, 10x the amount of revenue. You got to get creative on what's coming down the pike. You're thinking 1950, 1960, 1970. It's gone. You got to think 2026, 2027, 2030, 2040.
All right. So what do you do with all the poor people?
They're going to be
We never discussed that in the past, 5,000 years, 2,000 years. So when are we going to discuss that?
So poor people are going to get poor. The problem is that our poor is not really the poor in a third world country. You're not drinking out of the sidewalk. You're still drinking Avion. You still got your big screen TV on the wall, and you're still in line buying the latest speakers.
Hold on, but job market's going down, right? You got AI that's in the process, and I'm not, this isn't a conversation that's say today or so on and so forth, but in reality, people are becoming more efficient, which are gonna throw people out of jobs and so on and so forth, especially on the lower end and so on and so forth. So the idea is that the fact that poor people are going to become more poor, yeah, that's a thing. But I mean, I think I kind of lean on where Mike, was saying is, hey, when is that conversation going to be had as far as for what the result is of that? Because at the end of the day, if our response to that is, oh, well, the rich are going to get rich and the poor are going to be poor, then in reality, I'm telling you right now, we are going back into slavery days. I'm telling you that, because if that's the mindset, then that's where we're headed, because of the fact that no one stopped to think, oh, okay, well, what about those folks? Because of the fact that, yes, they are the majority. We lower middle class was already the majority, right? But when that's now lower class solely, or a poverty is the majority, where do those people go? What happens with those people? And if there's no infrastructure put in, and I'm not saying I'm not an attorney, or I'm not what they call it, like any part of legislation and so on and so I don't do that, right? But at the same time, if we don't start making those decisions now, then other people, such as Louisiana, in their situation, if it's true, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm telling you right now, there will be people there to make those decisions. and we will be back in slavery before we know it.
Well, I think that's extreme because don't forget slavery is getting paid without wages.
Well, if they don't have jobs, if there's not jobs available for them to make those wages, then yes, they're going to be working doing something. Who knows what that is? Or they're going to be taking up space and they're just going to say, hey, we're going to offload these people. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if there's no jobs available, then how are they going to be making work to say that you're getting paid wages?
Well, you're going to be jobs.
Mike's perspective too, before we keep going on the dialogue.
Say it again. You cut off.
I was trying to get input from
Mike. Mike's perspective as well, because he's been quiet so far.
Right. Yeah, Mike, you want to fully develop your thought?
I feel he made a very good comment that sparked.
Right.
So he has a lot that he's thinking about, but he's holding.
No, I've been thinking
to make
it. I've
sure
been
he has a
watching
chance
it
to
for
voice it.
my whole life, and so we do things that do not work, and we keep doing them anyway. And I just want to know, when are we going to stop doing them, look at them, and see if we can't fix them? Listen, I've lived the greatest life in the whole world. I have nothing, and I have everything right now because, again, I create, I invent, I get to sell my products that I make to people, and that is the dream job. And I think everybody has that ability to do it because they just, now we can 3D print at home. We have computers. We're connected to the whole world. So we can all go find our customers because it's all about customer service. And, if you have a good product and you go the extra mile, you should get business. Did the big boys come in and take that over? Yes, they do. They do it all the time. That's that capitalism we talk about, which is the greatest thing in the whole world, but it's a race to the bottom for the big boys, right? And that's where we are now. The big corporations have raced us to the bottom, and the little boys are getting squished, and they're getting homeless and all that kind of stuff. And we're all going along like it's nothing. Well, I just did a video on my TikTok that's we feed the machine that eats us. So that's what we're doing. We're feeding the machine that eats us. So, one day we're going to slow down a little bit and we're going to start talking about this and we'll solve this problem. We'll stop the wars. We'll stop all of it. We don't have to keep fighting. We've been fighting since the beginning of time. Can we have a 20-year moratorium on fighting? Let's try that. Let's, Brandon, the line, nice guys finish last. That's a motto in this country. All right. But we're a Christian country or whatever. And so
I like how you said that, Mike.
Well, again, we talk about Jesus all the time. He's the most recognized person in the whole world. And wasn't he the nicest person? So again, I guess nice guys do finish first, right? So I just don't, this has been an experience for sure, being here. So,
well, we gonna make you think here. You know what I mean? So
keep in mind that's part of the whole point of the show is different perspectives, and sometimes even getting a little bit uncomfortable, myself and Brandon included, of how we might feel about certain things. Like we're trying to provide. Remember, the whole point of this, the Power of Ownership podcast. We're trying to provide content for people watching this of whoever you are that happens to stumble into this show. How can we help you take ownership of your life, your business, your family, whatever it might be, that will help you get to the next level? Because we can't Brandon and I would love to, I'm sure, solve the world problems with the snap of our fingers. But it's not going to happen.
You never will. You never will. Oh, yeah. It's part of the process. If you didn't have so-called problems, how would you enjoy the actual pleasure? So you got to have certain issues that's part of life. So this utopian outview of something that's never going to happen. You're never going to please everybody. You're never going to have everything perfect. I think we came up 250 years ago with one of the best systems that's available and that's out here. And it's a system that's based on winners. They come from a foreign country. They came in, they kicked butt. That's what they did. And they came up with this where you could live. Even our poorest live better than everybody else. And that's just what this is. So people are poor, but they have 3 square meals a day. They have 4 walls. They have clothing. There's goodwill. There's all of this stuff that these programs that's available to help these people. And it's just a matter of choices. Everybody is not going to be the top of the class.
You're not justifying it. You're just saying
Right.
like in comparison to other parts of the world.
In comparison to other, all right, if you don't like this system, what do you propose as better? And that you have actual experience that works better than what we have right now. Now, again, this never was perfect. That's why there's amendments, there's tweaks, there's different things that we got better and better as it went on. But however, we in the best opportunity in the world, probably in the history of man right now.
We were. I believe that. I truly believe
Right.
that. I think it could be a better thing. But I think because of most of the stuff you just said stops the conversation on changing anything. So again, do you think our $40 trillion debt is going to work its way out? Do you think we lose more soldiers from suicide than we do in the battlefield? I mean, again, we have serious issues that we won't even talk about. And you're talking to me about them, or I'm the one that's got to bring them up? That's the most insane thing in the whole world. I don't have the answers either. I just know we use a paintbrush to clean our floors with. And that should say enough right there.
Right.
We use a paintbrush to clean our floors with.
Right.
Not one person, the whole world. Now, can we stop that and do something different? Well, I've been trying for 31 years and you can't. You can't. They won't let you in. So again,
well,
we can sit here and talk all this stuff, and
Yeah.
So this is live, huh? That's
right.
great.
You're peeling the onion. So let's do this. Let me go ahead and I don't want to unveil it, but let me put out this statement. Do you complain about the game or do you play it?
The game, I don't even like that word. You know,
do you complain about the situation,
or people dying all the time? Again,
do you complain about the situation, or do you execute it to the fullest of your capability?
Every day I try.
There you go. That's all you can do.
What can I add? I didn't actually get a chance to go yet. I just want to throw out one little thing.
Right.
One thing that I believe helps so much is education. The more we know,
I'm gonna push back against that.
I to an extent, the more we know about what to do, how to, and specifically how to do it, how to execute on it, the easier it is to grow and to do the next thing. If you've never heard anything about anything at all about how to be successful, you have come from a background where your parents and your grandparents and no one ever taught you anything about how to handle money, how to run a business, how to do anything. And you just happen to be bankrupt, homeless, struggling. Part of that could just be you're not aware of what's available. Sometimes just the awareness could solve part of it, which is part of what we hope with the show happens, is just the awareness of, if you know, Brandon, myself, Mike, and Alton here, you know 4 people right now. If you're watching this right now, you know 4 people right now you can reach out to today. And we all know each other. And we can all introduce you to each other. And we will bend over backwards and give our time freely to help you grow and do what you want to do in life and get you to the right people and help you move forward. So I'm just saying there's an educational piece to this as well, of if hopefully, and social media, by the way, is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, which is why this is where everybody gets their content. The hope is this is helping people while we do this show, giving back a little bit more. So just keeping that in mind, it's not going to solve everything. Funny enough, there is a whole nother topic we could go down this path with that I'm not going to bring up right now, but there is a potential.
I wanted to get to the last clip, but let me say this. Let me say this real quick. What you were saying is to give you a little bit of pushback. Awareness, education won't get you out of your situation. Your habits will.
Correct.
Your habits is what shape you, and everybody don't have the habit of success. And when I do the podcast, when I started the podcast 9 years ago, I wanted to talk to people like me that have the habits, just need the fine tuning. You already have to be there. You help those who help themselves. So there is nothing that's going to fall out the sky, and then certain people have to be where they are in order to remind certain people. Everybody can't be at the top. Everybody can't be at the top of the game. Some people were not meant to. And that's what I alluded to earlier. Some people don't have the capability of seeing opportunity.
True, but pushing back against you a little bit, Brandon, as well.
Right.
Some may have never found the starting point. And
even if I'll give you an example. McDonald's has clearly on the side of the thing, hey, this food's gonna cause cancer by the Surgeon General. The line is still packed. The line is still packed. To Mike's point, we've been painting our floors for years with dirt.
Yep.
Nobody ever thought, hey, man, isn't agitation the key to cleaning? When we apply pressure, we don't just rub, throw some soap on us and then throw some water on us. We scrub, right?
Brandon, even you and I, we're both in the mortgage industry.
Right.
For some reason, the majority of people do not get their mortgage loan through a broker. They go to a retail company and they pay $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 more for their loan.
You're proving my point. My point is
because they don't know any different. No one's ever shared that. But they've never come across the information. Is the point? So it's not. And these are people that are.
All right, let's take it this way. Let's take it this way. When I first started in the business, I used to, Mike will know, I used to be the trainer at Gallery Furniture. I used to be the training and development manager. I used to train all the sales people. So I used to use my training background in the mortgage space. I used to train realtors. I used to use. I got Trek certified. I can't tell you the amount of glassy eyes I would see. All this information, boom, 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 is going clean over their head. It's not absorbing, no matter how. And I'm pretty articulate, so I could say stuff in certain, and they don't want to know. In the movie The Matrix, Cypher said this. There was this guy, Cypher. He said he was outside of the Matrix, and he said, I want to go back. And I don't want to remember anything. I don't want to know nothing.
Yep.
And he's eating his steak. Even though my brain is telling me that this is all electrical ones and twos, I have to say this: ignorance is bliss. Some people are here on vacation and they don't want to know. They don't want to. Their habits is, I want to feel good. To Mike's point earlier, he talked about the drugs. The number one drug that nobody talks about is sugar. But it's pushed everywhere. Nobody talks about it.
Alton, Mike, push back a little bit. So it's not just me and Brandon. If you want to say anything at all, just please. It's still an open floor.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get this deep. Well,
here's the problem, Brandon. Is the video that we just played? It's a little bit, unfortunately, which is not the intention of our show at all. And I've made this clear to Brandon. We never want to step on these toes. This is in no way a political show, so we want to stay away from that topic. However, unfortunately, this does tie in a little bit to that, and that's why I want to make sure we stay away from that topic, but we're addressing the concept of what's happening here.
Well, let's go to in fact, this is the Tony Robbins clip. This is one of your clips, David. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, cool.
Let's wrap it up the show with the last clip right here. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. At the 2-hour mark. I appreciate y'all staying with us. Let's run this last one. Do y'all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Suffer when you're focusing on yourself. Jot it down. Suffering is selfishness. We all do it at times. True? Now you might say, no, Tony, that's not true. I'm suffering. I'm in pain because my kids are not doing well in school. It's not about me. Bullshit. You're suffering because you feel you failed your kids. If they were just doing well in school, it wasn't you. You just focus on how to do better. But if you're suffering because you failed them in your mind, how many follow this? So all suffering comes from the focus on the self. That's why when you're growing and contributing, you don't suffer. Because you're not in your own head. You're not in your own mind, your heart, or your soul, or your spirit, or whatever words you want to use to describe that part of yourself. But the mind is a duality. It's always right, wrong, good, bad, failure, success. That's not real life. That's the mind. And the mind will always find something to suffer over if you give it enough time. Because it's always looking for what to avoid. It's a survival mechanism. But if you live in survival mind, you're going to have a shitty life. But by the way, your brain is designed to make you survive. It's not designed to make you happy. That's your job. You only suffer when you're focusing on yourself.
Now, since that, y'all, I'm gonna just open the floor to that. Anybody? This is the last. We always want to end on something positive. You know. This is,
it's up to ourselves individually to understand our circle of control and live our lives within that circle of control, and the understanding that we are in control of our own destiny. Yes, there are certain things that happen around us, but the only thing that we can control is how we react to them.
Correct. Right. Mike, you want to chime in on that?
Go to the nose, follow the breath, witness awareness. That's what I do. So that stops the autopilot from doing the damage. So that stops the autopilot from going and grabbing a mop and painting the floor. So
right.
So.
Think outside of the box, right? What am I doing? David, you want to get in on that?
Sure. Yeah. Just. I mean, he's right. I mean, like you think about. I like the perspective he put of my kids are doing bad in school. I'm suffering because I feel bad about my kids. It's a legitimate reason to feel bad about yourself. Like, my kids are suffering. Like, I want to help them. But in reality, your kids doing whatever they do has nothing to do with you personally and how you feel. Your choice of how you feel about this is totally different, separated from your children. You can choose how you want to handle this. In fact, I can imagine, like, I'm just throwing this out there. How many kids come home with, Dad, I got straight A's. Proud of you, son. Congratulations. Proud of your daughter. Good job. And then I got straight A's. Oh, that's nice. And then parents give them no acknowledgement. Now the kids are suffering. Straight A's, did everything perfect. And the kids are suffering because they didn't get the acknowledgement they needed. Or vice versa. Hey, I got a D. I feel really bad. You know what, son, daughter? I'm proud of you still. You tried really hard. I know you studied. Versus, I got a D. You got a D? Seriously? I taught you better than this. Why didn't you study better? And then the parent pushes this on the kid. And the kid's taking it totally different. Like, okay, I struggled. My parents were not proud of me, but they were proud of the fact that I tried. I'm going to do better next time. Versus, I failed. I might as well give up. And now they're really struggling. And this is where you get into the massive mental issues that you have in children growing up. Like, I'm just thinking, like, pushing this on the other side. Like, he's talking about the parents, but I'm just thinking about the children on this side of his example. And just how everybody has the power of ownership. The theme of the show, the power of ownership in your life. How are you going to handle this? And no matter what the circumstance is, good or bad, it doesn't matter. How are you going to view it, and what are you going to do, and how are you going to impact others? And remember, too, the more you focus on other people and help others, the less you start thinking about yourself, too. That's a principle in life that helps you. So focus on others and how you can give back. And even tying back into earlier, like we have these other videos on creating businesses, finding opportunities, copycatting. Like, how can you impact and help others? How can I do this better? How can I create an influence? How can I empower, families? How can I provide more education? How can I educate myself better so that I can go help more people? Like, there's a whole lot of things that tie into this that can help make this whole thing better. So I really like, when I saw this video, I'm like, this is great. Like, even something that has nothing to do with you technically still can affect you. And you can still take control and have ownership of it. So,
right. I took a totally different perspective of what Tony's saying. I think he's alluding to the no separation theory. Also, I think our mind makes a mountain out of molehill. A lot of times I think we cause our own self to suffer by things that's out of our control, like Alton alluded earlier as well. No matter what, don't forget we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I think on the show, we talked about suffering. If you look at the etymology of the word suffering, it's passion. It means to go without, to go the extra mile for I would say to deprive yourself from. I think when you suffer mentally, I think you're worried about things that's out of your control. To wrap up what we're talking about this week, we're talking about opportunities that you can't see. We're talking about situations that you can't control, but do you have the capability of controlling them? Do you want to control them, or do you want to, like Mike said a couple times, do you want to continue and go along with the flow and paint your floors with dirt and never challenge or innovate, get up with the times, never analyze stuff because of pride, never go against the grain because of I'm addicted to certain things. I'm addicted to dopamine. I'm addicted to comfort. I'm addicted to going along to get along. So if you're that type of person, it even says biblically that, poverty is going to set in, and that's your wage, so the system and this reality rewards those who take action. And it's always been like that, and it's always going to be. And that's what this is. I used to end the show all the time a while back that God is a verb. People, I think it was too much off of people's head. People don't understand the motion. The beginning was the vibration. It was the motion. It was movement. That's what we're here for. We're here to move. And you could kind of go against that all you want, but that's what it is. We're here to move. We're here to take action. Try to go back and try to forget all that, but ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance can harm you. And with that being said, we're gonna see you next week.
Mike and Alton, though, I think you guys haven't chimed in at all on this particular one.
Well, no, they did the first. They did before you did. So that being said,
I wouldn't mind saying one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. The kids that have the mental issues and stuff like that from the coming down on them, which those are the homeless, a lot of them. So right? We got to assume that a lot of them get that. But 2 points, and Brandon knows one of them, listening. We were never taught to listen, right? Brandon and I had to take a listening skill from a guy at Gallery Furniture. It is the most eye-opening thing I'd ever learned in my life, that we weren't taught to listen. The second one is we're not taught that we can manage our thoughts, right? How we think about them and stop the loop just by breathing. And we don't teach that. And so we could do a lot of good in this world just by those two things.
Well, that's what your number one teacher was talking about, right? You talked about, that's what he taught, the slow down thoughts, right? If you're IB single, that's what he's talking about, so slow down thoughts, control your thoughts, because don't forget it's the mind, body, and the soul. So if you control them, that's the gateway, is the mind, right? To the soul. So if you can't control the mind, you toast. A lot of people can't control the mind, their bodies.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, can I suffer? Can I suffer for them? Yeah, you can. Like Tony Robbins alluded, you could do anything you want. However, is that a solution for them? By me suffering mentally, how is that helping them? But if I take action, and like that, with that being said, we're gonna leave it at that. Alton, you wanted to go in and
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, I would just be reiterating what's already been said. I mean, it's our job every day to control our actions and choose happiness.
Alton, come closer.
I was
gonna say, it's really. I would just be reiterating what's already been said. I mean, it's our job to control our actions. What is it? our thoughts control our feelings, control our actions, you know, and the repetitious nature of what we do is what makes us who we are. So defining what that looks like on an everyday basis and taking time to actually plan, whether that's for 30 minutes a day or 1 hour a week, you know, I think that does a tremendous amount of help good in laying out the canvas that will be your life.
Gotcha. And with that being said, you know, I know I kept y'all 10 minutes over. I appreciate y'all coming in. We're gonna end it with this clip, #deliberate. This goes to show you what you could do with if you make a plan and take action on that plan. The biggest thing I struggled with up until what I think everybody struggled with is not executing and not planning. People think that stuff is supposed to naturally occur. Eventually it'll get there. No, it doesn't. You have to take action and do it chunk by chunk. My mentor, Mattress Mac, you know this, Mike. You work for Mac. He used to say, inch by inch is a cinch, right? Yard by yard is hard, right? Inch by inch is a cinch. Yard by yard is hard. So take a little bit at a time and then incrementally work to your goals, right? And get it done. And that's what we're going to end the show with. You'll see that this clip of this guy, and Alton, you probably could testify to this, is when we were in high school, you know, we were thinking, all right, eventually I'm going to dunk, man. One of them just get long enough. And this guy in 8th grade, he worked at it. And within one summer, he was dunking by the end of the summer, you know. But I wish, and it dawned, nobody, just is that simple. Nobody ever, damn, if I would have worked at it, I probably could have been dunking in junior high instead of college.
Yeah.
But I didn't work it. I thought eventually I'll just start dunking. One of these days, I'll get it. And it's a dichotomy of something bigger. With that, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I said once he got it out the way.